One last question. Um, Oregonians, to some extent, are hypocrites. We talk about the climate change, but yet we sit in our vehicles and drive through lines without turning off our engines. We don't use video testimony for the legislature, so a lot of people fly. We don't have plug-ins and parts for ambulances and utility workers. A lot of people use parts for their rest stops and lunch breaks, so they have the restrooms, but and they leave their vehicles on. Those things would inconvenience all of us. Is it fair to go after, I guess this is a multi-part question, is it fair to go after just these top 100 emitters and not the rest of us? And why don't we go after, help the rest of us do our part?
That's a good question because it reveals a common misconception about the program that gets left behind. In that top 100 group that I mentioned on DEQ's website are our transportation fuel importers, and they are considered emitters in this program. And we like to try to catch them far upstream in terms of how we treat transportation fuels. So transportation fuels are part of the mix, and remember, transportation fuels are the largest contributor to our carbon footprint. About 35% or so, and it varies, comes from transportation fuels. We are already doing some things statewide to incent a transformation to electrified transportation, both in electric buses and electric vehicles. We did that in our transportation package, which is a good start, and more can be done. The bill sets forth that those are an appropriate way to spend some of our monies gained from the carbon charge. So it is important, it's out there. I think it's appropriate. I was explaining just the other day that to another group that the vehicle that I have that I can afford right now happens to be a 2005 Honda Pilot. And I don't have a good mechanism for doing my part to offset those emissions for my driving, and I would welcome that. It would be a small amount, and I'd be happy to pay it. While we're saying that, and we're saying that there will be, over time, probably some contribution from our transportation fuel sector, we haven't seen transportation fuel prices in California rise because of the implementation of their carbon pricing system. So fuel prices are extremely complex. The levers and buttons are all global. We're all kind of along for the ride, if you want to put it nicely on that. And so what we've proposed is, yes, we're going to have that sector and drivers contribute a little bit to revenues that we can use to better outfit our transportation sector for the future. Try to figure ways out that we can better electrify it, better use our rights of way to sequester carbon. We may even be able to get at congestion in this way. So those are constraints that we have to work through because of the limitations on the Highway Trust Fund constitutionally. We're aware of those. We have no intention of trying to transgress them. And it will be a substantial amount of money that we're able to work with.
Anything else you want to add to what we've been talking about?
Just, Dick, I've been reflecting as we approach the couple of penultimate days coming next week in the committee dealing with this program, and I've been really, really proud of Oregonians and my colleagues that have participated, the representatives from industry and the representatives from advocacy groups. We've done this in the best tradition of Oregon politics by having a big tent, having extraordinary amounts of transparency. And by the way, folks that are interested in the information we've gathered can find that by going to either my website on the Oregon Legislative Information System. There's a link to clean energy jobs there. Everything we've had submitted is there. And you can, if you so desire, watch some of those work group meetings. Same for Senator Dembro's website. It links both to the same database. So I've really been proud of how we have come, not necessarily fully together, but how we've come together and civilly talked about this. You know, we have to do something about it. Everybody agrees to that. How we do it is where we're struggling right now. And I've come to the conclusion that we probably will, but the sooner we do it, the quicker we get to a solution, and the cheaper it will be, right? We spend the cheaper money now than in 10 years. So let's use the cheaper money instead of the more expensive money to fix the problem.